Hello, my name is Ayanda Mthembu. Welcome to Unit 16, Human Immunity. This unit consists of three sections: showing an understanding of specific immunity, showing an understanding of the biology of the vaccination, and lastly, showing understanding of non-specific defenses against disease. Now, these may not be in this order, but we'll just get onto it. We'll firstly look at an infection. What is an infection? An infection can be defined as an invasion and growth of germs in the body. The germs may be bacteria, viruses, or other microorganisms. Infections can begin anywhere in the body and may spread all through it. An infection can cause fever and other health problems depending on where it is, where it occurs in the body. When the body's immune system is strong enough, it can often fight the germs and cure the infection. And then we'll just look here at the bacteria and viruses. Bacteria are single-celled organisms which can cause illnesses such as meningitis and pneumonia. But viruses are different from bacteria as they need a host to replicate and survive, thus causing common colds and chickenpox. Furthermore, infections can be transmitted via direct contact, indirect contact, insect bites, and through food contamination. Some infections can spread by a direct contact with the infected area to another person's body or via contact with a contaminated surface. This is the common route of cross-infection from one person to another. Examples of infections of the skin, mouth, and eye that are spread this way are scabies, head lice, ringworm, and impetigo. It is said that insect bites can transmit infectious diseases via carriers known as vectors, and this is a common transfer method for bugs such as ticks and mosquitoes. Food can also become contaminated with bacteria and, if consumed, causes food poisoning, leaving one feeling unwell. And so we will move on here to the three lines of immune defenses. We'll look at the first line of defense, the innate. The immune system has three lines of defenses as stated to protect our cells and vital organs from infections. The innate immune system provides the first line of defense, which is divided broadly into two categories: physical or chemical barriers and non-specific resistance. Physical barriers, including the skin and mucosa of the digestive and respiratory tracts, help eliminate pathogens and prevent tissue and/or blood infections. Moreover, components that are secreted by the skin or mucosa, such as sweat, saliva, tears, and mucus, help provide a basic barrier against invading pathogens. The skin is the largest organ in the body and is our most prominent physical barrier of defense. Skin can heal itself by quickly forming a scab to act as a temporal barrier while the skin underneath heals. As we can see here, that's a normal skin layer. So another example of a first line, or the first line of defense, is mucous membrane, which is an epithelial tissue that secretes mucus and lines many body cavities such as eyes, ears, nose, mouth, etc., and tubular organs including the gut and repository passages. Mucous membrane helps our body maintain its healthy status by allowing nutrients to pass through while defending against infectious agents and to prevent bodily tissues from becoming dehydrated. Here we can see the mucous membrane, and we will just then quickly look at it there. Yes, and so both skin and mucous membrane releases chemical secretions which resist the growth of microbes and their surfaces. If pathogens cannot enter the host body, they cannot disrupt the physiological functions and cause harm. And then we'll just move on to the second line of defense. The second line of defense are a group of cells, tissues, and organs that work together to protect the body. This is the immune system. Non-specific cellular and molecular responses of the innate immune system. If pathogens can get past the first line of defense, for example, through a cut in your skin, and infection forms or inflammation develops, and the second line of defense becomes active. quickly look at the inflammation. Inflammation is the body's immune system response to an irritant. When inflammation happens, chemicals from your body's white blood cell enter your blood or tissues to protect your body from invaders such as bacteria and viruses. We will just put that up there just to say it. And yeah, inflammatory responses increases capillary permeability and at infected sites, recruiting leukocytes but leading to localized swelling. Innate immunity also comes in a protein chemical form called innate humoral immunity. For example, the body's complement system and substances called interferon and interleukin-1, which causes fever. And then just to look at fever here. Fever increases body temperature to activate heat shock proteins and suppresses microbial growth and propagation. A higher temperature in the body speeds up how cells work, including the ones that fight illnesses. Also, higher body temperature make it harder for bacteria and viruses to thrive in your body. Briefly looking at macrophages, they are tissue resident or infiltrated immune cells critical for innate immune system, normal tissue development, and they are necessary for homeostasis. And then we'll move on to the third line of defense and pathogens. Yes, there we go. Pathogens are microorganisms that causes illness to their host through a variety of ways. Can be through direct damage of tissues or cells during a replication, generally through the production of toxins, which allows the pathogens to reach new tissues or exit the cells inside which it replicated. Pathogenic organisms are of 5 main types, which are viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and worms. An pathogen is any substance that causes your immune system to produce antibodies against it. This means your immune system does not recognize the substance and is trying to fight it off. An antigen can also form inside the body. Antigen may be a substance from the environment, such as chemicals or pollen. There are several types of antigens categorized by where they come from in the body. These include exogenous antigens, endogenous antigens, and autoantigens and tumor antigens. And then so we'll move on here to the immune system, the immune response. We'll first look at the acquired immunity. Acquired immunity is immunity that develops with exposure to virus antigens, which means we are not born with it. It's a learned response that is formed by a lifetime experience, and your immune system builds a defense against that specific antigen. If we just quickly look at the active immunity develops in response to an infection or vaccination. And a passive immunity develops after you receive antibodies from someone or somewhere else. As you can see here, we have a natural and artificial under both active immunity and passive immunity. And so yeah, going by our daily lives, we pick up antigens from our environment, and our immune system learns from this and creates antibodies specific to fight them, and this learned response will protect us our entire lifetime. For example, getting vaccinated for a specific antigen, our immune system learns, adapts, and remembers. This is because vaccines contain weakened or inactive parts of a particular antigen that triggers an immune response within the body. So yeah, we will just then move on to immunological memory, which is where your immune system remembers. So the immunological memory has the ability of the immune system to quickly and specifically recognize an antigen that the body has previously encountered and initiate a corresponding immune response. And then we'll move on to sensitivity to antigens. As we have learned, immune responses protect the body from damage by fighting off invasive substances and infections. However, the immune system produces undesirable responses by identifying harmless substances as harmful. This is called hypersensitivity response, which is an extreme or unnecessary immune response that your body doesn't need. So there are 4 types of hypersensitivity. Hypersensitivity type 1 causes an immediate response and occurs after a person has exposure to an antigen. With this type of reaction, the body responds to an antigen by producing a specific type of antibody called IgE. And a type 2 hypersensitivity causes cytotoxic reactions, meaning that healthy cells die as they respond to the antigens. This can cause long-term damage to cells and tissues, resulting in conditions such as the autoimmune neutropenia, where the body destroys neutrophils. And type 3 hypersensitivity, antigens and antibodies form complexes in the skin, blood vessels, joints, and kidney tissues. These complexes cause a series of reactions that lead to tissue damage. And lastly, unlike the other types, type 4 hypersensitivity reactions are cell-mediated. Instead of antibodies, white blood cells called T cells control type 4 hypersensitivity reactions. This type also causes a delayed reaction. And we will then move on to immune system cells. The most common cells of the immune system are the white blood cells called a leukocyte, and there are 5 different types. We'll quickly just look at all of them here. Starting with lymphocytes, they are small round cells that have a large nucleus. They are made in the bone marrow, and they are found in the lymphatic system. They make up between 18% and 42% of white blood cells in your body. Lymphocytes become either B cells or T, and these play a major part in the immune memory, and they produce antibodies for specific pathogens. Monocytes. Monocytes, they are the largest of the different types of white blood cells. They are cells firefighters. Their life cycle begins in the bone marrow, where they grow and train to protect your body. Once they mature, they enter your bloodstream and tissues to defend your body against foreign invaders like germs. And neutrophils. Neutrophils, they are one of the first immune cells to respond. Neutrophils travel to the site of infection, where they destroy the microorganisms by ingesting them and releasing enzymes that kill them. Neutrophils are also boost the response of other immune cells. And eosinophils, they are major effector cells in the immune system, which are responsible for combating multicellular parasites and certain infections or even an allergic reaction. And then basophils, they are the rarest of the white blood cells that works closely to defend your body from allergens, pathogens, and parasites. Basophils releases enzymes to improve blood flow and prevent blood clots. Basophils are responsible for creating 5 different antibodies. These are immunoglobulins that are known as IgA, IgD, IgE, IgG, and IgM. Their function in the body is to simply target infections, recruit immune cells, and remove antigens and complement activation. So we'll quickly look at the immunoglobulins then. Immunoglobulins are also known as antibodies, as a large Y-shaped protein used by the immune system to identify and neutralize objects such as pathogenic bacteria and viruses. The antibody recognizes unique molecules of the pathogen, which we now know is called an antigen. If your immunoglobulin level is high, it might be caused by allergies, chronic infections, and autoimmune disorder that makes your immune system overreact, such as rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. So we'll just take a quick look at what exactly they are. So here's what all the IGs are responsible for. IgG is responsible for stimulating a direct attack on anything that it recognizes as a threat. And it is the only antibody that can transfer across the placenta to a fetus, which provides some protection from pathogens that haven't been encountered yet. IgA play a role in the cellular of defense of a mucous membrane to the body. IgM is comprised of 5 monomer immunoglobulins to create a panthermer. Sorry. It's the first one to appear at the site of an antigen. And IgE responds to the parasitic infection and allergic reaction. And finally, IgD is responsible for acting as an antigen receptor for B cells. And then we will move on to self-recognition and tolerance. Self-tolerance is the ability of the immune system to recognize self-produced antigens as a non-threat while appropriately mounting a response to foreign substances. This balance of immunological defense and self-tolerance is critical to normal physiological function and overall health. Self-tolerance mechanisms plays a role in cancer, autoimmune diseases, colonization by commensal bacteria, and pregnancy. If immunological self-tolerance is lost, the body develops an autoimmunity against its own tissues and cells, which become the source of the autoimmune system disease. And that is why the self-tolerance is a complicated system of safeguard that may be corrupted at any stage, because the human immune system does not have a consistent level of response to foreign antigens. The level of response varies significantly depending on the similarities between the new antigen and self. This means if the new antigen is similar, there may only be a weak response, whereas if the antigen is completely different, there will be a stronger response. Yes, so we'll move on to rejection of transplanted organs. When a person goes through an organ transplant surgery from another person, that person's immune system may reject the cells as a foreign body. This is due to the immune system of the person trying to recognize the antigens on the cell of the organ itself, because of the compatibility and mismatch of organs. And so this triggers a reaction to a blood transfusion, and the transplant gets rejected by the body and it starts to attack the new organ. There are 3 types of rejection. A hyperacute rejection, which occurs straight away after the surgery with the antigens reacting harmfully to the organ. And the acute rejection can happen during the first week or 3 months after the transplant. Many people after the transplant may experience some form of acute rejection. And lastly, chronic rejection. It can affect a person many years after the transplant, as the body's immune system is constantly trying to reject the new organ, whilst gradually harms the transplanted organ or tissue. And we'll quickly just move on to immune system disorders. An autoimmune disease is the result of the immune system accidentally attacking your body instead of protecting it, and it is unclear why this happens. Autoimmune diseases can affect many types of tissues and nearly any organ in your body. They may cause a variety of symptoms, but specific symptoms depend on the exact disease. Common diseases include lupus. Lupus affects the immune system by mistakenly attacking healthy parts of your body. Symptoms include joint and muscle pain and a rash on your face, and some people can experience headaches, mouth sores, hair loss, and many other symptoms. There's currently no cure for lupus, but the symptoms can be often treated with medicines that reduce inflammation in your body, such as steroids. And as we can see here, despite the variety of autoimmune immune diseases, many of them share similar symptoms and risk factors can include genetics. Oh, shit.